Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nerd Doctors. And we have another Who Will Win for you. This time between Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes versus Venom. These two characters are pretty similar the more that you think about it. Their main power is from an alien symbiotic life form that attaches itself to its host and is able to adapt and curate things based on its different scenarios. We are going to be talking about their baselines. We're not going to be going into the ridiculous iterations, especially when Venom becomes a god. The baseline Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes, and Venom. We're gonna start by talking about Venom. Venom was a character that was introduced as an antagonist for Spider-Man. And fun fact before we get into it, it was sold to Marvel by just a fan creator for $200. One of the shittiest deals ever. Venom's made them so much money. But the Venom symbiote attached itself to Spider-Man and was able to duplicate Spider-Man's powers, his web slinging, his suit. That's what we see on the Venom's chest. And one byproduct of that is Venom can get past Spider-Man's spider sense because Spider-Man does not see it as a threat as it was a symbiotic relationship. Venom over the years has also developed other abilities, such as some amounts of shapeshifting and camouflage, high defense capabilities, super strength, as well as being able to adapt the symbiote, something similar to what Edward was telling me earlier to a T-100 Terminator, where like if he like sees like a rocket launcher, he's able to produce it out of his shoulder.
Yeah, and not to mention, he's very agile. He's a cunning killer. He could even eat his victims or, create giant claws coming out of his hands. So he's very deadly. Definitely a very deadly adversary to what has been Spider-Man. Too bad they ruined him in the third Spider-Man movie, but you know,
I would also say the other two Venom movies.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that right.
No. The Venom symbiote has had a variety of hosts besides Eddie Brock. He's also had like Flash Thompson, Malekith the Dark Elf. The list goes on just through Marvel Comics history. And there have been a lot of different iterations with him. He's gone stronger, he's gone a little bit weaker. But the one thing that's remained consistent throughout his creation are his weaknesses. His two giant glaring weaknesses are the Venom symbiote is extremely weak to fire and sonic attacks.
In the comics and watching the animated Spider-Man, the animated cartoon back from the 90s, how, seeing this, and at first I thought how strong he was, and then to see this, and it's also surprising how many heroes sonic blasts kind of really damper their attacks and things like that. Venom's probably one of the coolest Marvel villains slash sometimes
I would say more anti-hero
anti-hero.
now,
Yeah.
especially since the recent trends starting in like I want to say like the 2010s when they started to move villains, started developing a little bit them a bit more, and started moving them more into the anti-hero category, giving them their own stories. The most successful ones being like Harley Quinn. Venom's very successful, and he's had several of his own comic series and own story arcs, especially very recently with Null.
He has a giant, almost cult-like fan base. I know dudes that have Venom tattoos, and you can't talk bad about Venom. Let's jump into Blue Beetle.
The name has not always gone with the Scarab. There was two other Blue Beetles before we got to Jaime Reyes. We had Dan Garrett and Ted Cord. Ted Cord and Dan Garrett didn't really use the Scarab. They were more technologically based heroes, whereas Jaime Reyes had an alien life form attach himself to his spine, infuse itself there. The Scarab is from an alien species called the Reach, where they send these scarabs to planets looking for a host in which the scarab takes over the mind of the host to take over the planet and prepare for the Reach's invasion fleet. However, with Jaime's scarab, there was a malfunction and it did not take over Jaime's mind. The scarab essentially has the powers based on the user's imagination. It can fly, create all sorts of weaponry that is completely up to the user. It is very, very tanky. Its prime directive, as we've all seen from the Blue Beetle trailer, is to just protect the host. That is its number one job. And it will do so at pretty much all costs, even against the host's will sometimes. But it is an absolute arsenal, and the limit, again, I hate quoting the trailer, is just the imagination. And he has gone through several big fights and developing stories to get where he is today. And it usually does take a while for Jaime and the Scarab to get to a situation where they are on the same page. But when they do, they are definitely a force to be reckoned with.
This is probably one of the cooler superheroes right now. And I think it's been over the last couple of years that he's gotten really cool. I hated the original design. I thought it looked goofy. It almost looked like a Mexican luchador type thing. Jaime Reyes' design for Blue Beetle, it's really, really cool. I loved him in Young Justice. If any of you guys saw the Justice League versus Teen Titans movie, where him and Damian Wayne kind of really hate each other, he's really cool there too. I gotta say, although we haven't seen the movie and we know it's not tracking well, the suit looks amazing. It really does. It looks very comic book accurate, if you will. He's got a lot of weapons. Anything he can think of, he could turn into a weapon. How cool is that?
Jaime Reyes is one of the more recent superheroes that have taken off. He was introduced in 2006. He is one of my favorite DC superheroes because I do like his story, and especially in Young Justice, they did a great job fleshing him out a bit more than they have in the comics, and they've given him several of his own comic series. The weaknesses for Blue Beetle, there aren't really too many except just the host. The host itself is a weakness just because, again, the limit to the suit is completely based on the host. The host has to do all the thinking, and as I said before, the host and the scarab don't always get along, so the scarab will sometimes just overwrite what the host wants to do and just act on its own. And sometimes that can get in the way of things.
Yeah, that could be a complete pain in the ass. I guess you could say the same thing about maybe Venom in a way. I guess depending on the host, right, Griff?
Yeah. But I think one thing that the Venom symbiote does that's a bit more important than the Scarab is the Venom symbiote does corrupt the wearer's mind. Like as we've seen through the comics, and for people who are maybe more familiar with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, you can see Peter Parker get a little bit more angsty, more angry, more frustrated. And the Venom more corrupts, whereas the Scarab is supposed to completely take over. And since it was a failed takeover, the host is a lot more of a weakness than it is for Venom.
Yep. Okay, so now let's get into what you guys are here for. Let's put these two dudes up against each other. I told Griff earlier, this one for me, in any scenario that we put them up against each other, Blue Beetle takes it. He's just, more agile, better weapons. Yes, in newer iterations, Venom could essentially create all these weapons. I just think that the Scarab and the Symbiote are very different. The Scarab is much more technologically advanced. The Symbiote is more, well, I mean, they're both kind of like living things. So,
They are living things. I mean, despite its appearance, the Scarab is an organic being. One thing that is a very popular weapon of Blue Beetle is his sonic cannon. That is going to be used in almost every fight just because of Jaime's good nature. He doesn't want to harm people, just wants to incapacitate them so he can get away or accomplish his mission. And I think just the sonic cannon is going to be very powerful against Venom because, as we said before, in almost every iteration, Venom's always weak to Sonic. You can say a lot of things. I do disagree a little bit with Edward. I do think Venom can be a little bit more agile, at least a little bit more versatile with it, especially with the webbing and being able to catch Jaime. But I do think that even if Venom catches Jaime, it's not really going to matter just because of the Scarab is just a lot more versatile with its weaponry, and so is Jaime. Whoever's inside Venom doesn't have as much control as Jaime is going to, even with the Scarab overriding him. And he's going to be able to get the upper hand. And as we said, the Scarab's number one priority is to protect its host. It's going to do everything possible. And even if Jaime may not want to injure or kill Venom, the Scarab 100% will every time. And it will be able to analyze the Venom symbiote to see what its weaknesses are. And the fight's going to be over once that analysis is done.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I wouldn't want to be the guy fighting up against a guy that can create any weapon he could imagine. That's one of the craziest but also coolest things I've ever encountered with superheroes is that the guy can create whatever he thinks of. He can create as a weapon. That's crazy. I mean, even if, like, let's say you're like the coolest villain on earth. Well, you could essentially just create a weapon that could take down that villain. So Venom's chances are winning here, like Griff said. With that Sonic Cannon, Venom's done. Blue Beetle could just pull out like some blasters that, shoot out some very, very crazy flames. That's also what's gonna take down Venom. So, Venom is fast, he's strong, he's very deadly, but against Blue Beetle, it's I really don't see a scenario and where Venom could take down Blue Beetle. Not this iteration of Blue Beetle anyway.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different iterations and like versions of the Venom symbiote. It's been adapted so many times, like anti-venom, carnage, toxin. There's so many versions of them. This is just this iteration, and not even talking about Venom's power up that he went through after the Null arc, especially becoming like fighting the god of the symbiotes. It's just while Venom is super powerful, it's just his glaring weaknesses that are the key issue here. Whereas the Blue Beetle's weaknesses are more just internal between the Scarab and the host. Whereas once you get past the symbiote, you're just a human underneath, and there's not much you can really do about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't want to simplify things, but there's just not really a scenario where Venom comes out on top on here, for all the reasons that we just listed. And we're not saying Venom's not cool. Venom's awesome, but it's just he's going up against an adversary that's just got all the firepower in the world and again, can just think of something and create it and then win the fight with that. Just better prepared, better
More
armed.
versatile. And one thing I will say is we have probably, well, we have oversimplified this, as Edward said, and we are considering Eddie Brock under this, but there have been so many different hosts that we said before. Like there was Venom Deadpool and Venom Thor. Both of those could probably take out Jaime Reyes just because of the host underneath. This is more just a comparison between the Scarab itself versus the Venom symbiote, not between the hosts.
I agree with Griff 100%. Venom Thor, I don't want to fuck with Venom Thor.
No, I'm just gonna get away. I don't need to get near you. I'm gonna run or just lay
Could you
down and hope it's
imagine
quick.
Venom Odin or Venom fucking Galactus? No, I would just leave.
It wouldn't surprise. Have they done Venom Galactus? That sounds like something Marvel has done.
That sounds like something I'd fucking just leave. I'd just be like, whatever, dude. Just
I have the image.
yep, that
I
sounds
see it.
crazy as
That's
balls.
terrifying
I wouldn't fight Galactus,
on any day.
just normal Galactus, which that sounds stupid as hell to say normal Galactus, because given the fact that he eats fucking planets. But Venom Galactus, no. Just why would I even do that to myself?
Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know who do you think would win this fight, and if you agree with us, in which Venom host would you not want to run into ever?
Yeah, and let us know if you guys enjoy these, who would win. And I know we have Elektra versus Catwoman Griff
Yeah.
next, but let us know what you want to see next.
See you guys next time.
Take care, guys.